Imagine a vast sun-drenched savanna stretching endlessly in every direction. The morning light spills over golden grasses, and the wind brushes against the skin of creatures roaming beneath the endless sky. Among them, a small group of early humans moves cautiously, their bare skin glistening under the sun, their sparse hair catching the light in thin, scattered strands. Unlike the thick fur of lions, leopards, and other mammals nearby, their bodies seem almost exposed, vulnerable. Yet, in that very exposure lies a story millions of years in the making, a story that science still seeks to fully understand. Why did humans, unlike almost all other mammals, shed the protective coat of hair that covers most creatures? Was it a matter of survival, a clever adaptation to the heat of the African savanna, or was it the result of chance, a quirk of evolution that would shape the destiny of our species forever? As we explore this question, we will drift through time, stepping softly into the distant past, listening to the whispers of the winds that swept across ancient landscapes, and observing early humans as they navigated a world both beautiful and merciless. The mystery is not just about hair or its absence. It is about the profound ways in which humans adapted, changed, and survived. It is about a slow, deliberate transformation that turned our ancestors into beings capable of running long distances under a blazing sun, of thinking creatively to solve problems, and of developing social bonds that would define civilization itself. The absence of fur is not merely a biological curiosity. It is a window into the intersection of environment, biology, and the intricate web of life. Picture the subtle contrast between humans and their primate cousins, chimpanzees swinging through the trees, covered in dense fur, shielding them from insects and the elements, while humans tread carefully on the ground below, exposed to sun, wind, and predators alike. What drove this divergence? Was it climate, the scorching sun demanding more efficient cooling systems, or parasites, the tiny, the relentless insects that might have made dense hair a liability rather than protection? Perhaps it was a combination of factors, an elegant dance of biology and circumstance that nudged humans toward a less hairy form, the body optimized for endurance, for survival in an unforgiving world. And yet the answers remain elusive. Fossil evidence gives hints, but gaps persist. Genetic research uncovers threads of explanation, tracing the rise and fall of hair-related genes, but the story is far from complete. In this documentary, we will wander alongside early humans, observe their trials, triumphs, and adaptations, and gently unravel the enigma of why humans lost their fur. We will not rush. Instead, we will let the journey itself be as reflective and soothing as the winds that once brushed across the plains. As you listen, imagine yourself stepping softly into the past. Feel the warmth of the sun on your bare skin, hear the rustle of grasses around you, and sense the heartbeat of a species on the cusp of transformation. Every lost strand of hair tells a story, not just of biology, but of resilience, of ingenuity, and of a journey that ultimately led to us, the humans of today, marveling at our own reflection in the mirror, pondering the mysteries of our evolutionary past. Here begins our exploration, a slow, gentle journey into time, into the world before civilization, before cities, before the comforts of clothing and shelter. We start with the mystery itself, a question that invites curiosity and reflection. Why did humans, alone among the primates, shed the fur that once covered their bodies? And as we follow the story, perhaps we will discover not just answers, but the profound wonder of evolution, adaptation, and the remarkable journey of our species across millions of years. Millions of years ago, the Earth was a place of raw beauty and untamed wilderness. Vast savannas stretched as far as the eye could see, dotted with clusters of acacia trees whose silhouettes swayed gently against the morning sky. Rivers carved their way through the landscape, glistening in the sunlight like silver threads, and dense forests whispered with the secrets of ancient creatures hidden beneath the canopy. It was a world without cities, without roads, without walls to divide land or people. Instead, life thrived in a delicate balance between predator and prey, plant and animal, survival and extinction. In this ancient world, early humans moved carefully, their lives intertwined with the rhythms of nature. They were both hunters and gatherers, observing the subtle movements of herds, listening for the faintest rustle of leaves that might signal danger, and learning from the environment in ways that required patience, intuition, and deep connection. Every step they took was a negotiation with the world around them, a negotiation that demanded awareness of the land, the climate, and the creatures that shared their space. Compared to other primates, early humans were remarkable in their differences. While chimpanzees and gorillas thrived in dense forests, protected by thick coats of fur, humans navigated open landscapes with exposed skin, relying on intelligence and social cooperation rather than sheer physical strength or hair-based protection. Their sparse hair made them vulnerable to the sun, insects, and sudden changes in temperature, but it also allowed them to regulate body heat efficiently, a trait that would become crucial as they embarked on long hunts across the savanna. Daily life in these times was a rhythm of observation, adaptation, and movement. Early humans learned which plants were edible, which fruits provided vital hydration, and which herbs held medicinal properties. They observed animals closely, studying their behaviors to anticipate migration patterns, hunting strategies, and territorial disputes. Social structures began to take shape as families and small groups worked together, sharing knowledge, resources, and protection. Even in the absence of written language, their communication was rich, with gestures, sounds, and shared experiences weaving a tapestry of understanding. Predators lurked everywhere. Lions, hyenas, and leopards prowled in the shadows, and survival depended on vigilance, strategy, and the ability to learn from each encounter. Yet the challenges of the environment were balanced by its beauty and abundance. Sunsets painted the sky with deep hues of orange and crimson, rivers teemed with life, and the wind carried the scent of flowers, grasses, and the distant ocean. This world, both dangerous and enchanting, shaped early humans in ways that would echo across millennia. To understand why humans lost their fur, we must immerse ourselves in this primal environment. It was a world of extremes: intense heat by day, chilling cold at night, sudden storms, and periods of drought. Humans' exposed skin and unique physiology were not merely accidents of evolution, but responses to the demands of survival in such a world. Each adaptation, each trait, was a story of trial and error, a testament to resilience, innovation, and the slow, deliberate shaping of a species that would one day dominate the planet. As you envision this ancient landscape, picture early humans sitting beside a river at dawn, their bodies glistening with dew and sweat, watching a herd of antelopes grazing nearby. Hear the distant roar of a lion echoing across the plains, the whisper of wind through grass, the chirping of birds greeting the rising sun. Every element of this world influenced their development, from social bonds to hunting strategies, from dietary choices to survival instincts. It was a world that demanded adaptation, creativity, and collaboration, and in navigating it, humans began a journey that would forever distinguish them from the other primates. This section lays the foundation for understanding not just the environment early humans inhabited, but the subtle pressures that shaped their evolution. The landscapes, climates, predators, and daily challenges all contributed to the story of why humans lost their fur, a story that is both biological and cultural, scientific and deeply human. The story of human hair loss is not just a tale of physical change. It's a narrative shaped by the subtle, persistent forces of evolution. Over millions of years, countless pressures, both visible and invisible, sculpted early humans into the forms we recognize today. To understand why humans shed the dense fur that blankets so many other mammals, we must examine these forces, exploring the intricate interplay of survival, reproduction, and adaptation. One of the most compelling explanations lies in thermoregulation, the body's remarkable ability to maintain a stable internal temperature despite the extremes of the environment. Imagine a sun-scorched savanna where the midday heat beats down relentlessly, turning the earth into a shimmering mosaic of gold and brown. Dense fur would trap heat, making endurance hunting, a cornerstone of early human survival, almost impossible. By losing fur, humans could sweat freely, allowing heat to escape through evaporation and enabling long pursuits under the blazing sun. Early humans became runners of a unique kind, not chasing prey over short bursts like many predators, but engaging in persistence hunting, using intelligence, endurance, and cooling efficiency to outlast faster, more heavily furred animals. Yet thermoregulation alone does not tell the entire story. Another significant factor may have been parasite reduction. Insects such as lice, ticks, and fleas thrive in thick hair, transmitting disease and causing irritation. Sparse body hair would have reduced the habitats for these parasites, leading to healthier, more resilient populations. Imagine the relief of early humans, shedding the constant burden of itchy, potentially dangerous infestations and experiencing a new freedom in mobility, comfort, and health. Evolution often rewards practicality, and hair loss may have been one of the most subtle yet impactful adaptations for survival. Then there is the role of sexual selection, a force driven by attraction, social signaling, and mate choice. Humans are inherently social creatures, and physical traits often serve as indicators of health, fitness, and genetic quality. Smooth, hairless skin could have become a marker of vitality, a canvas reflecting youth, health, and fertility. Over generations, those with less body hair may have enjoyed reproductive advantages, passing on genes that favored fur reduction. This interplay of biology and social dynamics illustrates how evolution is not merely about survival against nature, but also about thriving within communities, relationships, and cultural norms. Additionally, consider the intricate balance between energy efficiency and metabolic demands. Growing and maintaining dense fur requires resources, proteins, fats, and nutrients that could otherwise support growth, brain development, and reproduction. By shedding excess hair, humans may have redirected energy toward more pressing needs, such as larger brains, longer gestation periods, and extended childhood development. The loss of fur, in this sense, is deeply intertwined with the evolution of the human intellect, social complexity, and capacity for culture. It is also worth reflecting on comparisons with other mammals. Many animals retain dense fur as insulation or camouflage. Yet humans, equipped with bipedal locomotion, advanced cognition, and social cooperation, found alternative strategies. Clothing, shelter, and fire eventually supplemented physical adaptations, but long before those innovations, the evolutionary pressures favored less hair, more sweat, and an unparalleled ability to traverse diverse environments. The evolutionary forces at play were not isolated. They acted simultaneously, overlapping and reinforcing each other in complex ways. Thermoregulation, parasite reduction, sexual selection, and energy allocation formed a network of subtle pressures, each nudging humanity toward its distinctive appearance. Each step of hair loss was a negotiation between survival, reproduction, and adaptation, a negotiation that unfolded over millennia, leaving traces in our genes, our physiology, and even our behavior today. As you reflect on this section, envision early humans navigating the savanna with glistening, sweat-moistened skin, free from the dense fur that once covered their ancestors. Picture the delicate balance of environmental pressures, social dynamics, and biological imperatives that guided these changes. The story of human hair loss is not linear, nor is it simple. It is a tale of interconnected forces, each shaping the species in ways both visible and invisible. In understanding these evolutionary forces, we gain a deeper appreciation of the subtle genius of adaptation, the way small incremental changes accumulate over vast spans of time, ultimately defining what it means to be human. Hair loss was not a single event, but a mosaic of responses, a testament to resilience, ingenuity, and the inexorable power of nature to sculpt life in forms both functional and extraordinary. As early humans roamed the earth, the world around them was a living, breathing canvas of change. Mountains rose and eroded, rivers carved new paths, and forests shifted with the rhythm of the seasons. Climate was not merely a backdrop, it was a driving force, shaping physiology, behavior, and ultimately, the very appearance of humanity. To understand why humans lost their fur, we must trace the contours of an ever-changing planet and explore how geography intertwined with evolutionary necessity. In the vast expanses of Africa, early humans first emerged into a world of extremes. The tropics offered scorching heat and intense sunlight, while nearby savannas brought wide-open spaces, predators, and sparse shade. Dense fur, once protective in cooler or shaded habitats, became a liability in these environments. Imagine an early human moving across the golden plains under a relentless sun. Sweat glistens on exposed skin. The wind brushes freely across the body, and every step demonstrates the delicate balance between survival and adaptation. Fur reduction allowed for more efficient cooling, enabling longer hunts, increased mobility, and the endurance needed to thrive in such climates. As populations expanded, humans migrated beyond the tropics, encountering a diversity of climates, from temperate woodlands to cooler, wind-swept plains. These migrations required further adaptations. In temperate regions, humans developed behaviors to compensate for fur loss. Clothing made from hides, controlled use of fire, and the construction of shelters. Geography shaped culture as much as biology, illustrating a partnership between environmental pressures and human ingenuity. In essence, humans traded physical insulation for technological innovation, a trade that would define the species for millennia. Environmental changes also created selective pressures on skin pigmentation and hair distribution. In equatorial regions, darker skin protected against intense ultraviolet radiation, while minimal body hair allowed for heat dissipation. As humans moved toward higher latitudes with less solar intensity, lighter skin became advantageous for vitamin D synthesis, highlighting the intricate dialogue between climate, geography, and physiology. Each environmental challenge demanded subtle adjustments, a symphony of adaptation playing out across generations. Rivers and water sources further influenced human evolution. Access to fresh water dictated settlement patterns, migration routes, and exposure to diverse pathogens and parasites. Human societies learned not only to survive, but to express identity through the careful interplay of body, clothing, and environment. Hair, or its absence, was no longer merely biological. It became symbolic, shaping social cohesion and group dynamics. Sexual selection likely amplified these cultural tendencies. Individuals with traits signaling health, efficiency, or social intelligence, whether through smooth skin, fitness, or grooming, would have had an advantage in reproduction. Over generations, subtle preferences reinforced traits such as hairlessness, further embedding biological change within cultural context. In this way, evolution was not merely a physical process, but a dance between survival, society, and self-expression. Even rituals and communal practices could have influenced hair patterns. Consider bathing in rivers, applying protective oils, or participating in ceremonial displays. Each action subtly highlighted the interplay between environmental adaptation and social meaning. Hairless skin reflected light, displayed physical fitness, and communicated readiness, creating a silent dialogue within communities that was both aesthetic and functional. As human societies grew more complex, these early social cues evolved into cultural norms that persist in various forms today. Modern grooming habits, beauty standards, and body art can all trace their roots back to these primordial interactions between biology and society. The story of hair loss is therefore not just a tale of evolution, but a narrative of human connection, social signaling, and the emergence of culture itself. By examining social evolution alongside biological adaptation, we gain a richer understanding of why humans look the way they do. Hairlessness was never solely about surviving heat or avoiding parasites. It was about communication, culture, and the intricate ways humans began to navigate both nature and each other. The loss of fur became a canvas for early human ingenuity, creativity, and the complex web of social life that defines us even today as humans shed most of their fur. The story of survival became as much about skin as it was about hair. Beneath the surface, an intricate system of sweat glands and dermal layers evolved to support endurance, regulate temperature, and protect from the elements. Human skin is not merely a covering. It is a living interface between the body and the environment, a dynamic organ that tells a tale of adaptation, innovation, and the remarkable journey from fur-covered ancestors to modern humans. Sweat glands, particularly eccrine glands, became the unsung heroes of thermoregulation. Unlike most mammals that rely on fur for insulation, humans developed the ability to dissipate heat efficiently through sweating. Imagine early humans traversing vast savannas under a blazing sun, their skin glistening with moisture, each droplet carrying away heat and preventing overheating. This physiological transformation enabled endurance hunting, long-distance travel, and a new way of interacting with the environment that few other species could match. The interplay of skin, sweat, and circulation became a marvel of natural engineering, an evolutionary solution that allowed humans to thrive in scorching climates where fur would have trapped heat and limited activity. Skin also evolved in texture, pigmentation, and sensitivity. The loss of dense hair exposed humans to sunlight, necessitating protection through melanin and other adaptations. Variations in pigmentation reflect the migration of humans across continents, balancing the need for vitamin D synthesis with protection from ultraviolet radiation. Each subtle shade tells a story of environmental pressures and evolutionary problem solving, a living record of human adaptation etched onto the body itself. Beyond thermoregulation, skin played a role in social and sensory perception. Touch became more sensitive, detecting subtle changes in temperature, pressure, and texture. Early humans could feel the brush of wind, the warmth of sunlight, or the presence of a companion through skin contact, enhancing both survival and social bonding. Hairlessness amplified these sensory abilities, allowing humans to experience the world in a more intimate, nuanced way. Sweat also had indirect social implications. Visible perspiration could signal exertion, health, or readiness, acting as a silent communicator within groups. This biological feature intertwined with social evolution, influencing mate selection, cooperative hunting strategies, and community cohesion. The very act of sweating became a dialogue between body, environment, and society, subtle yet profound. Interestingly, fur reduction was not merely about losing hair, but about creating a platform for these sophisticated biological systems to function optimally. Hairless skin allowed for evaporative cooling at a scale impossible for fur-covered animals, providing a physiological advantage that facilitated endurance, exploration, and survival in diverse ecosystems. The efficiency of the human sweating system is one of evolution's quiet masterpieces, often overlooked yet vital to our story. The skin-sweat relationship also influenced daily behavior and innovation. Humans learned to seek shade, apply mud or oils for protection, and develop clothing to regulate temperature further. Each adaptation layered upon the last, illustrating how biology and culture co-evolved, creating a complex feedback loop between physiology and lifestyle. By understanding the science of skin and sweat, we see hair loss not as a simple disappearance, but as the gateway to a suite of evolutionary advantages. The human body became a finely tuned instrument, capable of enduring heat, communicating subtly, and thriving in environments that would challenge most other mammals. The loss of fur in this context is a testament to the elegance of evolution, where small changes cascade into profound consequences for survival, society, and sensation. Even after centuries of research, the story of human hair loss remains riddled with enigmas. While scientists have proposed theories ranging from thermoregulation to parasite reduction, no single explanation captures the full complexity of why humans evolved with such remarkably sparse body hair. Each hypothesis sheds light on part of the puzzle, but the complete picture remains elusive, inviting curiosity and wonder about the forces that shaped our very skin. One of the most intriguing questions revolves around the timeline of hair loss. Fossil records provide clues about the general evolution of early humans, but the precise moment when fur began to diminish is still debated. Was it a gradual adaptation spanning hundreds of thousands of years, or did certain environmental pressures trigger a more rapid transformation? Each new discovery in paleontology or genetics has the potential to shift our understanding, reminding us that evolution is not just a story of certainty, but also of mystery and unfolding revelation. Genetic evidence offers tantalizing hints, yet adds layers of complexity. Certain genes associated with hair growth and loss have been identified, yet their interactions, variations, and the timing of mutations are not fully understood. Why did humans retain hair in specific regions like the scalp, eyebrows, and eyelashes, while losing it elsewhere? Could this selective retention have had functional, social, or even aesthetic purposes? These questions highlight the sophisticated interplay between biology, environment, and behavior, an intricate dance choreographed over millennia that we are still striving to decode. Parasites provide another puzzle piece. Some scientists suggest that hair loss reduced the prevalence of lice, fleas, and other external pests, thereby conferring a survival advantage. Yet, many other mammals coexist with parasites without evolving extensive hair loss, raising questions about why humans followed a different path. Was this purely a matter of selective pressure, or did social and cultural behaviors amplify the evolutionary effect, making humans unique among mammals? Or the role of sexual selection adds another layer of mystery. Could humans have evolved less body hair because potential mates found it more attractive, signaling health, fitness, or social intelligence? If so, how did cultural and environmental factors interact with biology to reinforce this trend? These speculative questions remind us that evolution is rarely linear, but a complex network of pressures, choices, and adaptations, some of which may leave only subtle traces in our genetic code. Even with modern science, gaps remain in understanding the relationship between climate, activity patterns, and hair loss. Ancient humans migrated across continents with diverse climates, yet the patterns of hair reduction do not always align neatly with temperature or latitude. Why did some populations retain more hair than others? How did lifestyle, diet, and social structures influence these physiological changes? Each mystery beckons further investigation, blending biology with anthropology, paleontology, and even psychology. Perhaps the most profound mystery is philosophical. Why did evolution favor hairlessness in humans when fur seems advantageous in so many ways? The answer may lie not in a single factor, but in the convergence of multiple subtle pressures, each nudging early humans along a path that ultimately led to the hairless bodies we inhabit today. In this uncertainty, there is beauty, a reminder that evolution is not a finished story, but an ongoing narrative filled with questions that inspire awe and curiosity. These unresolved mysteries also connect us to the past in a deeply human way. Every patch of hair, every glistening bead of sweat, every exposed stretch of skin carries the legacy of millions of years of adaptation. As we ponder what remains unexplained, we are reminded that the story of hair loss is more than biology. It is a window into the resilience, creativity, and enduring enigma of the human species. As we journey from the distant past to the present, it becomes fascinating to observe how vestiges of our evolutionary history persist in modern humans. Our sparse body hair, once a mystery shaped by survival pressures, now coexists with cultural aesthetic and functional choices that define who we are today. From the subtle curl of an eyebrow to the patterns of hair on the scalp, the human body remains a living archive of adaptation, carrying traces of the decisions made by our ancestors over millions of years. Modern humans display a remarkable diversity in hair density, texture, and distribution, a reflection of both genetics and environment. Some populations retain more body hair, while others have remarkably smooth skin. These variations tell stories of migration, climate adaptation, and subtle selective pressures that have unfolded across continents. Even within a single population, individual differences hint at the complex interplay between DNA, development, and lifestyle, reminding us that evolution leaves its fingerprints in countless ways. Our relationship with hair today extends far beyond biology. Societies have imbued it with symbolism, identity, and personal expression. Hairstyles, grooming habits, and body modifications reveal how humans have transformed a physiological trait into a canvas for cultural meaning. In many ways, the very absence of hair on most of our bodies has opened avenues for creativity and self-expression that fur-covered ancestors never imagined. Hairlessness, once a product of evolutionary necessity, now becomes a backdrop for art, fashion, and individuality. Technology and medicine further shape our interaction with hair. From shaving and waxing to hair restoration treatments, humans exert control over a feature that was once dictated entirely by evolution. These choices illustrate an intriguing reversal. Whereas our ancestors were at the mercy of natural selection, we now influence our bodies according to social preference and personal desire. Yet beneath these choices, the silent story of adaptation endures, reminding us of the journey from primate ancestors to the species we inhabit today. The vestigial hair that remains on our heads, eyelashes, and eyebrows serves practical purposes, yet also connects us symbolically to our past. Eyelashes protect our eyes from dust, eyebrows help channel sweat away from vision, and scalp hair shields delicate skin from sun exposure. Each strand is a testament to the intricate balance between survival utility and evolutionary change. Even in its absence elsewhere, hair continues to tell the story of adaptation, a story encoded in our very DNA. Reflecting on modern humans also invites contemplation of our relationship with nature. We have transcended many environmental constraints that once drove evolutionary change, yet we remain deeply influenced by the legacies of those pressures. Our skin, sweat glands, and hair, or lack thereof, shape our comfort, endurance, and even social interactions. They remind us that evolution is not a distant history but a living reality, woven into the fabric of our daily existence. Finally, observing ourselves in the mirror, we witness a species uniquely defined by both absence and presence. The loss of fur, once an adaptation to survive under the sun and evade parasites, now frames our identity, aesthetics, and comfort. It reminds us that evolution is a storyteller, shaping not only our bodies but our experiences, relationships, and the very ways we perceive the world. By reflecting on these aspects of modern humanity, we honor the profound journey of adaptation, resilience, and the endless curiosity that defines our species. As our journey through time draws to a close, it is worth pausing to reflect on the quiet majesty of the human story. From fur-covered primates navigating the sun-baked savannas to the modern humans of today, our evolutionary path has been shaped by countless forces: climate, predators, social structures, and the intricate dance of natural selection. Each stage left its mark, from the loss of fur that allowed us to regulate heat and endure long hunts, to the vestigial traces of hair that remind us of the species we once were. Looking to the future, we find ourselves in a unique position. Humanity has entered an era where survival is no longer dictated solely by environmental pressures. Technology, medicine, and culture now guide the course of our adaptation. Yet, the legacy of evolution remains ever present, influencing how we move, breathe, perceive temperature, and interact with one another. Perhaps future humans will carry even less body hair, or perhaps genetic engineering and aesthetic preferences will lead to entirely new forms of variation. The possibilities are as vast as the imagination, and as subtle as a strand of hair on the skin. Speculation invites both wonder and reflection. Will our descendants evolve in ways that further enhance endurance and resilience, or will comfort and technology relax the pressures that once shaped our physiology? Might future humans reclaim features lost over millennia, or develop entirely new adaptations to survive in a changing world, both on Earth and beyond? Even as we ponder these questions, it becomes clear that the story of human evolution is not just about the past. It is alive in every heartbeat, every decision, and every innovation we undertake. The journey from dense fur to nearly bare skin serves as a testament to nature's ingenuity. It illustrates how small, gradual changes can accumulate over eons, producing outcomes that seem miraculous when viewed from the perspective of modern humanity. Section 11. The interplay of genetics, evolution, and modern life in the quiet hum of our modern world. It is easy to forget that the skin we inhabit, the hair we grow, or no longer grow, carries the echoes of millions of years of evolution. The story of human hair loss is not merely an ancient tale. It continues to shape our lives in subtle, profound ways. At the heart of this story lies genetics, the intricate code written in our DNA that dictates the density, color, and distribution of hair across our bodies. Genetic studies reveal that the journey of hair loss involved complex interactions between multiple genes, each responding to environmental pressures, climate, disease, and social factors. Mutations that once gave early humans an advantage, helping regulate body temperature under the African sun or reducing the burden of parasites, remain embedded in our genome today. These genetic footprints serve as a silent testament to adaptation, a record of survival strategies employed long before humans recorded their history in stone or story. Modern life has transformed the context in which these evolutionary traits operate. With clothing, shelter, and technology, humans no longer rely solely on their skin or hair to survive. Yet vestiges of our ancestral adaptations persist. Sweat glands, sensitive skin, and sparse body hair continue to reflect a time when these traits were crucial. Even in cities, under artificial lights, surrounded by fabrics and air conditioning, our bodies whisper of open savannas, sun-drenched plains, and the relentless challenges faced by early humans. The interplay of genetics and culture adds another layer of fascination. In some societies, hair is a symbol of beauty, status, or identity, a cultural narrative shaped over millennia. In others, grooming practices and cosmetics have become extensions of ancient evolutionary impulses, transforming survival traits into expressions of individuality. The contrast between biology and culture invites reflection. How much of what we consider a modern is truly new, and how much is a continuation of ancient adaptations interpreted through the lens of contemporary life? Scientific discoveries continue to uncover new mysteries. From the regulation of hair growth cycles to the genetic basis of rare hair conditions, researchers peel back layers of complexity, revealing the ongoing dialogue between our genes and the environment. This knowledge invites us to appreciate human hair as more than a cosmetic feature. It is a living record of evolutionary pressures, a functional adaptation intertwined with identity, health, and resilience. Finally, reflecting on this interplay encourages a deeper understanding of ourselves. Our bodies, our traits, and even the hairs that remain or are absent tell a story of transformation, one that spans continents, climates, and epochs. In recognizing this, viewers are invited to see human evolution not as a distant past, but as an ongoing process, one that continues to shape our experience, our societies, and our very perception of what it means to be human.